Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Texas Rangers franchise here on MLB The Show 21 and the MSM Sports Network. We made it, everyone, to the divisional round against our rival Houston Astros. As you get a look at the bracket there, we're taking on Houston. We will face the winner of the Twins and the Yankees should we advance. And right now, give you a look at the league leaders, those that won awards across the American League and the National League here in just a second. We did not win any awards for our team, but you can't really be surprised about that. We didn't have any just standouts this season, other than maybe David Dahl. He hit over 300, but missed 2 to 3 months with that torn calf. This is a big series for us, and the way that I'm going to do these series in the playoffs will look like this. I'll play game one, and you're about to see the highlights from that. And then up until elimination games, it's primarily going to be quick managed or simulated. And I'll go into games at key moments just because, that's the most fun. But I want this to have more of a simulation feel than just strictly me playing every single one of the games. That's just the way that I enjoy this the most, and I think that brings the most realism to it. You allow the ratings to determine as much as you possibly can from a series. As you see Dane Dunning warming up here for Game 1 of the American League Division Series. He'll be opposed by Lance McCullers. We've actually hit McCullers fairly hard in this series, and in years past, I don't really know why McCullers is a guy who's relatively easy to hit. I think it's primarily because he's a curveball pitcher, as you get a look at his numbers there. But I've never really had a hard time hitting Lance McCullers, and hopefully that continues here in this game. He's not been as sharp as he has in years past. A 3.96 ERA as Isaiah Kiner-Falefa stepped in, and he would fly this one out to right field to begin the ballgame. Texas is going to have to really sit back on those curveballs. McCullers is most successful when he's able to spot the fastball on the corners and work the curveball off of that. As you see right there, Nick Solak very, very early on that pitch. But as long as the Rangers are willing to work the opposite way, they can certainly have success. As McCullers runs the count full, misses badly inside here to Nick Solak, and Texas would get a 2-out base runner on here in the first inning. The Astros won over 100 games this last season. They did win the American League West. They were the second overall seed in the AL behind the New York Yankees, who won 109 games in the regular season. And a lot of that was because their pitching failed them down the stretches. Willie Calhoun here, he's going to splice this one down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Calhoun pulls into second, Solak up into third, and Texas threatening here with 2 away as Calhoun does exactly what I said would be the key. Sits on that curveball. He's willing to drive it the other way and put something in play. I'll bring up Jose Trevino with 2 outs now, as Trevino has split time down the stretch with Sam Huff. First pitch he gets right back up the middle. This is a base hit into center field. 1 run is home. Willie Calhoun coming around third. The throw up the line, and Texas takes a 2-0 lead in the first inning off McCullers. This time it was a sinker that stayed up, and Trevino able to go right back up the middle, just not doing too much, and Texas strikes first with the early lead. Dane Dunning got his first career start in a divisional game in a playoff game, period, as he was scheduled to start in the wild card game. Chris Woodward decided to go with Kohei Arihara instead, and that means Dunning leads things off here in the divisional series. Gets his first out of Michael Brantley on just a couple of pitches. 2 pitches later, it's Miles Straw who's trying to go through the right side, but Solak cuts that off. Straw has really developed as a hitter this series, and I was surprised by that considering his hit ratings are not very high at all, but he's certainly become a decent little player for the Houston Astros as Yordan Alvarez steps in. 1-2 pitch, caught swinging at the curveball in the outside corner. Had to protect the plate, but was way out in front of that. All he can do is lift a lazy fly ball into center field. So Dane Dunning out of the first inning with a 2-run lead, doesn't give up anything in return, and Texas with the early momentum here at Minute Maid Park. We'll take you now to the bottom of the second inning. Dunning facing Alex Bregman, who led off the inning. He's trying to go through the right side, and a dive from Solak. He can't quite come up with it. Alex Bregman on for the first base runner for the Houston Astros. Next batter was Kyle Tucker. He's trying to reactivate his regular season success. As Tucker finished the season really strongly for the Astros. He'll take this one into right field for a base hit, and it was 2 on, nobody out, as the Astros already down in an early hole. The Astros doing their best to scrap and claw their way back. Now with 1 out and a 1-2 count on Carlos Correa, Dunning is going to stay away from him. Nothing that he can drive into the Crawford boxes, and he'll swing and miss at this slider way out in front of it as Dunning committed to staying off the plate, and Correa obliges him by chasing the bender just off the outside corners. You get another look at it there. Correa, no chance at hitting that, and bring up the 8-hole hitter, Yuli Gurriel. Last chance for the Astros here in the inning. He'll ground this one sharply down to third base, but Anderson Tejada up with it on to first, and Texas out of the second inning. Even though they allow a pair of hits, they do not allow any runs, and Texas continues to lead heading to the third. Nick Solak to the plate. He'll get struck out here on a fastball. Just swung and missed right over the top of that as McCullers maybe took a little bit off of that. Willie Calhoun next up. He doubled his first time. He'll fly out to shallow left center field this time as McCullers started to settle in. A couple of errant locations with his pitches there in the first inning, but he got his command as the game went along, and you see it there with the weak contact, a strikeout of Nick Solak, and that would bring up Jose Trevino. 2 outs now here in the top of the third. Pitch count, though, already up to 45 pitches, and even though he gets Trevino very quickly here, 45 pitches through 3 innings is not where he ideally wants to be. As we now move into the quick simming portion of this, again, trying to move through a series quickly but efficiently, and also let you see what happens. So you see the Astros get a run on a sacrifice fly. Still 2-1. Texas remains in control. McCullers, though, a scoreless 6th. And Dane Dunning would give a base hit to Miles Straw here. So Texas going to maybe go to the bullpen here, and they're going to put in Brett Martin to face the lefty. He immediately gets Straw stealing and works his way out of the inning. Still 2-1 now in the top of the 7th. Andre Scrub has to come in and get the Astros out of another jam. And the Rangers are also going to go to the bullpen. They're going to go to Nick Vincent, who immediately gives up a double, and then the Astros run right out of it. You saw the solo home run from Carlos Correa, but for whatever reason, Jose Altuve tries to steal third base, and because of that, the Astros just remain tied with Texas. So now we come back to the top of the 8th inning. It's Trevino up to the plate. Runners on first and second with 1 out, and he's got the 2 RBI for the Rangers already today, looking to make it more as he takes ball 1 inside. Scrub is a flame-throwing right-hander, but also struggles with some command. Doesn't miss there, though, as he dots the outside corner with the cutter. This Astros bullpen has certainly been the weakness of their team. If they have a cold spell or aren't able to convert leads, it's because of things like that. A 1-out walk to load the bases from Scrub, and that would bring up Nate Lowe. Lowe 1 for 3 on the day. An 0-1 pitch upcoming here. Lowe fouls that one off, and suddenly he's down in the hole 0-2. Rangers can't afford to let an opportunity like this go away, especially with Houston starting to reclaim some of that momentum as the 0-2 pitch misses off the plate outside. Something that really never threatened the zone there, and it becomes 2-2 just like that. Scrub ready, here's the pitch, and it's bounded back up the middle. A dive from Altuve, he can't get to it. 1 run is home. Calhoun around third, here he comes to the plate. Texas reclaims the lead 4-2 on the back of a 2 RBI single from Nate Lowe right back up the middle. That ball not hit particularly hard as you get another look at it here. He kind of pounded it right into the turf, but it eludes Altuve at second, and Blake Taylor would have to come on out of the bullpen trying to put out the fires. Manuel Margot to the plate now with 2 outs. Runner on second base, and he'll sky this one on the infield. The Astros will work out of the inning. They won't allow any more runs, but the 2 spot that comes across thanks to a couple of walks and an RBI single from Nate Lowe. So we simulate the bottom of the 8th inning, and Well, the Astros certainly threatened as we take Nick Vincent out of the ballgame now. We're going to go to the flamethrower Matt Bush in relief. They'll put Alex DeGotti in as a pinch runner, and just like that, they get another run across. So it was 4-3 heading to the bottom of the ninth. Hunter Wood coming on out of the bullpen looking for the save and immediately gives up a base hit. Astros have the tying run on first base just a couple of pitches into the inning as Yuli Gurriel finds that right field gap once again. He was able to fight it off the hands for a base hit, and that's what the Astros need. They don't go to another pinch runner, though, and it's Wilson Ramos to the plate. First pitch from Wood misses downstairs to him, and Hunter not making this any easier on himself. But very next pitch, grounded softly out to shortstop. Kiner Falefa on to second, and the throw to first in plenty of time to get the water buffalo. The Rangers turn two, and the threat is certainly mitigated here as now Houston, who had the tying runner on, just has to settle for the tying runner being at the plate. A very smooth play there by IKF. And Texas is just 1 out away from winning Game 1 of the ALDS. Well, the final hope for the Astros was Michael Brantley, who has not had a very good end to his season, and 0 for 4 tonight. You're going to actually see him struggle in this series. Takes the first pitch for a strike, lines the 0-1 pitch into right field, but it's secured by Margot, and the Texas Rangers march into Houston and take Game 1 away from the AL West champion Houston Astros. A little rivalry doesn't hurt either as Nick Vincent hangs on. He'll get the win. Andre Scrub, I believe, will end up getting the loss here as Hunter Wood fired up to have come in out of the bullpen and gotten a save. Texas is really not supposed to be here. As we've talked about, they did not play very good baseball down the stretch, but they did manage to beat the Cleveland Indians in the wild card, and maybe they're starting to peak at the right time. Well, Game 2 was started by Hung-Jung Yang, and the Rangers give up a solo shot there in the bottom of the second as we quick manage this one. Houston up 1-0 early. Framber Valdez keeping the Rangers off balance as he allowed just one hit through 4 innings. Yang gives up 2 more runs there in the bottom of the fourth, but quickly a solo home run from Manuel Margot, who we have not seen a lot of power from since acquiring him from the Tampa Bay Rays. Got to make some decisions on whether or not we're going to bring him back. Is Texas down 3-1, and instantly we get a walk from Willie Calhoun, and then Anderson Tejada moves him in. He'll score on a sacrifice fly, and we are tied at 3 apiece until the Rangers take the lead. A 4-3 lead as Ryan Presley gives up 3 runs in the top of the 9th inning. And just like that, Texas has a lead going to the bottom half of the frame. Spencer Patton now coming in out of the bullpen. Again, we don't have a traditional closer this season. We've gone purely based on matchups. And Patton would be called on to get Wilson Ramos. He'll get him to tap out down to first. And there's 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. Is Patton another one of those guys that I wonder if he can fit in our bullpen long term? He is 33 years of age, but when he does things like that, it's hard to argue against keeping him as he gets Kyle Tucker to swing right over the changeup. Quickly 2 are gone. Yuli Gurriel was the last chance for the Astros, and, well, it's not going to die with him as he pokes this one into the left center field gap. Put that one on a line, and it'll rattle up off the visitor bullpen out there, and the Astros had the tying run at second base. Again, it falls to Michael Brantley, who was up late yesterday as the tying run. He'll line this one towards the left center field gap, but it's caught by IKF. Kiner Falefa puts the finishing touches on another Ranger win, and Texas goes into Houston and takes both games on the road. They're now just a game away from clinching the ALDS and moving on to the championship series. The Rangers, of course, have not won a playoff series in several years, since 2011, in fact. The Rangers have had a couple of other forays into the postseason, but have not been successful. And they had a couple of different opportunities against the Blue Jays in 2016-2017. Both of those fell by the wayside. So, with a 2-0 series lead, the Rangers return to Globe Life Field in Arlington, where it was the first playoff game that the Rangers had ever hosted in their new stadium. As the Rangers would play under the lights at the home ballpark. A sold-out crowd hoping to see their Texas Rangers punch their ticket to the ALCS. You get a look at the first two games, the Rangers winning 4-3, and again, I cannot reiterate, the Rangers are not supposed to be here. We thought that the rebuild to be competitive would be a number of years down the line. I really didn't expect to even make the postseason until 2 or 3 years into this franchise, but they played hot baseball at certain times, they played very cold baseball at others, but they just snuck in and they've done everything right. As you see the celebration continuing and the Rangers getting ready for what could be a monumental game here at home. Wes Benjamin would get the start. The lefty was 4-4 with an ERA just under 3, and Benjamin, a guy who I really didn't expect to even contend for a starting rotation spot, but he was sharp at AAA, earned his trip up to the major league level, and he performed well. An ERA under 4 is absolutely acceptable, certainly on a team that doesn't have a lot of starting pitching depth to begin with. And he got through the first couple of batters in the first inning relatively quickly. 0-1 count here to Yordan Alvarez, and a weak chopper down to first. Wes Benjamin went 3 up, 3 down in the top of the first inning. Taking out the top of the third is the Rangers weren't able to do anything against Jose Urquidy until now, and, well, the Astro bats finally break through. An absolute bomb from Wilson Ramos, and Houston takes a 1-0 lead as the Water Buffalo got a fastball over the plate. It just leaked out right under the hands, and he did not miss this one. So you get a look at the replay. 417 feet, the projected distance. This was a no-doubt home run. Everyone in the ballpark knew it. Well, the very next batter was Kyle Tucker, and he's leaving the yard, deep to right field. Another mistake pitch from Wes Benjamin that ends up as a souvenir in the seats, and the Houston Astros took a commanding 2-0 lead as Jose Urquidy had been pitching well. Any lead, given what the Astros can do offensively, is never something you want to surrender, and Texas now finds themselves in a hole as a 440-foot projection was placed on that home run. He does strike out Yordan Alvarez, though, and the Rangers would get out of the inning, but the 2 solo blasts certainly hurt. Go to the bottom of the frame, the Rangers looking to respond, and IKF right back up the middle is Kiner Falefa on board here. His bat has been a little cold down the stretch, so it's good to start seeing him hitting the ball well and really contributing to this team in the postseason. 3-2 pitch to David Dahl misses upstairs, and the Rangers have runners on first and second with nobody out here in the bottom of the third as Urquidy starts to show his first real sign of any sort of weakness. Taking out a 1 out, and Anderson Tejada up to the plate, and he smashes this one through the right side. That's a base hit. Rangers will hold the runner at third. It will be bases loaded with just 1 out for Manuel Margot to the plate. First pitch of his at bat is smoked into left field. That's a base hit. It gets down. 1 run comes in to score. They will hold David Dahl at third, and Texas cracks into the lead, slicing it into half as Margot has seen his offense uptick just a little bit in the postseason. Next up would be Nick Solak in a 1-0 pitch here with the bags full of white-shirted Rangers as Urquidy delivers, and this pitch is demolished. Deep to left field, into the second deck it goes. A no-doubt grand slam for Nick Solak, his first home run of the postseason. Texas jumps out in front of the Astros 5-2, needing just 1 more win to move on to the ALCS. As Nick Solak got every stitch of that baseball, 441 feet, the projected distance, and Texas would take the lead. Back to the quick managing it goes, and a couple of base runners here. Now the Astros strike back for 1 in the 5th, and that would be it for Wes Benjamin, but Hunter Wood gives up a 2-run shot as well. Now we skip ahead to the 9th inning, still tied at 5, and in the bottom of the 9th, Isaiah Kiner Falefa would come up to lead off. He'd be facing Justin Verlander, who has moved to a bullpen role in the franchise's version of the Houston Astros. Takes ball 1, a slider that doesn't move. Skip ahead now to the full count pitch, and Kiner Falefa reaching for a curveball just bats this one towards shortstop, and Correa able to make an easy play. Now to David Dahl with a 1-1 count and 1 out. This pitch right down the middle, it's smoked deep out to center field, but this one not going to carry nearly far enough to get out of the deepest part of the ballpark, and there were 2 away. Adolis Garcia now to the plate, and he'll ground out softly to first. So the Rangers can't score in the bottom of the ninth, and we are going to extras with a trip to the ALCS on the line for Texas. Nick Vincent came into the ball game, and you see the Astros bullpen also get working behind him. Miles Straw, the batter here with the ghost runner on second. He's not able to do anything as he flies out gently to Nick Solak, and there was 1 away. 2-1 count now to Yordan Alvarez as he tries to get his runner in from second base. Again, not really a big fan of that zombie runner rule, but it does help things move along. Is Alvarez going to hit a weak liner down to Tejada? Anderson wasn't sure if the call was made that he did indeed catch that, so he went ahead and threw it to first, but it counts as a line out all the same. Now to Alex Bregman on an 0-1 pitch. This one just hits the chalk and stays fair. The throw into second in plenty of time to get Bregman, but the run has come across. So Alex does his job, even though he runs into the final out. He is able to bring in the go-ahead run, and Ryan Presley would come in out of the bullpen. He blew the lead in Game 2. Could he hold it here in the bottom of the 10th? Ghost runner on second base. Anderson Tejada digs in, and the first pitch of his at-bat upcoming as he's 1 for 4 on the day. He swings and laces this one deep out to right center field. It is just off the wall. A couple of feet away from being a walk-off shot. Anderson Tejada ties the game nonetheless on the very first pitch of the inning. And now the Rangers have the walk-off run on second base with nobody out as Manuel Margot steps in now. Presley the kick, and Margot squares to bunt. It's a perfect one down the third base line. Bregman, bare hand, throw to first, not in time. The Astros, no outs in the inning. Their backs are against the wall as Nick Solak comes to the plate now. The winning run just 90 feet away. The infield is in for the Astros, and Solak gets caught chasing at a curveball. Strike 3 called. Solak goes down. There's 1 out. Still, the winning run just 90 feet away. Here's the pitch, and a ground ball right back to Presley. Hard hit on to second for 1. They throw to first, and the Astros dance out of it. Unbelievable that Texas can't get the winning run across as now we go to the top of the 11th, and on a 2-2 pitch, Carlos Correa just flailing at a ball, somehow gets the barrel on it, and down the left field line to bring in the go-ahead run once again. As you get a look at this replay, a fantastic pitch from Solak, but a better job of contact from Carlos Correa, and that would bring in Brett Martin. Martin's first batter would be the right-handed hitting Jose Altuve, and Altuve is going deep on a 1-0 sinker that got too much of the plate. The Astros second baseman makes it a 3-run ball game in the 11th as Martin shakes his head in frustration, and the Rangers' 3-game sweep starting to elude them as we go to the bottom of the 11th. Rangers need 3 runs just to send it to the 12th. 2 outs now as Isaiah Kiner-Falefa right back up the middle. This is a base hit. They'll send the runner from third, and Texas will get 1 on the board as Nate Lowe scores. Well, the Rangers down just 2 now, and the tying run coming to the plate in the form of David Dahl as Texas will face a new pitcher in Joe Smith. Didn't mean to cut that off as soon as I did, but Joe Smith, the side-arming right-hander, fires a sinker that misses off the plate. Dahl's had a good night, 2 for 3 with a single and a double, and he needs something much more if the Rangers want to move on. The 1-2 pitch, and this one sent high and deep out towards right center field. Carrying towards the bullpen, it is over the wall. David Dahl ties it up with a 401-foot shot over the right field bullpen wall, and Texas has tied it up again. An improbable 3-run bottom of the 11th with 2 outs, and the Rangers rally to make it a brand new ball game as David Dahl caught a sinker at the bottom of the zone and just lined it into his team's bullpen, and Texas manages to extend the game. So we go to the 12th now. Again, the zombie runner still at second base. Kyle Cody now coming on, and Miles Straw gets a fastball right down the middle. Into center field, Eli White newly into the ballgame as a defensive replacement. Can't quite get the throw there in time. And Houston once again strikes in the extra inning. They only managed one though. We go to the bottom of the 12th. Anderson Tejada with a runner on second will ground out to first. But the tying run 90 feet away as Texas looks to extend or even win this game in the 12th. Manuel Margot, who has an RBI already today, 2 for 5 on the night, digging in. 1-2 count now. Smith's offering is swung on and missed. Slider out of the zone. Margot chased him, and there are 2 outs. It's up to Nick Solak, who played the hero earlier with the grand slam. Can he drive in the tying run? First pitch, Solak fouls this one off towards the Astros dugout. We'll take you now to the count with 1-2 on the scoreboard, and a fastball way up and in. It'll make it 2's wild. Solak trying to play hero for his ball club one more time, but he swings and misses over a sinker, and Houston lives to fight another day as the Astros have an awkward celebration there in the dugout. Joe Smith able to come on and get the win despite blowing the save, and the Astros make it 2-1 in favor of the Rangers. Jose Altuve, your player of the game, and, well, we'd simulate Game 4, and it wasn't even competitive. That's why I just decided not even to include that really in the video. Colby Allard loses. The Rangers drop Game 4, 3-0, and we are headed back to Houston for Game 5. It'll be Kohei Arihara against Lance McCullers Jr. That'll be the next episode, as we will play that in full. A trip to the ALCS against the New York Yankees on the line. Really hope you will join me for that in the next episode. Can't wait to show you what happens there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like and a comment. Until next time, so long, everybody.